Bill and I met Mike Deutsch at the Friendship Holiday Party in December 2014 as husband of board member Daniela Freeman and dad to young son Dylan. That evening, Bill learned that Mike was involved in the world of professional golf, and on the way home told me that he had one of Mike's business cards to give to our son-in-law, Mike Bellin, who loves golf. Time passed, and along the way, I learned more from Daniela and ventured to ask Daniela and Mike if perhaps Mike would give a program for the Friendship, and the answer was yes. So what started out as a regular program for the Friendship morphed into this mini fundraising breakfast. I think of Mike as being in a unique profession in Columbia. He is a golf journalist and an influencer in the golf industry. I don't know of anyone else who test drives golf equipment, apparel, gadgets, and who gets invited to play golf coast to coast and internationally, all expenses paid. And that is how we got to this point, living the green, how a high-handicapped golfer can get paid to play golf. Welcome, Mike, and thank you for saying yes to the Friendship.
Good morning. My name is Mike Deutsch, and I'm a golfaholic. You may have gathered that. I think I'm at the right place. Oh, wait. I think the meeting is at Shandon Presp. I jest. I'm at the right place. Anyway, I want to thank you all for coming to St. John's Episcopal this morning, and I want to thank the Friendship too, because golf and the Friendship really go together, because golf is more about friendship than about the sport itself, and that's what makes it really unique. You play around with three of your best friends, and even if they're not your best friends, by the time you're finished your round, they're your fast friends. Okay. While I'm not a professional golfer, a lot of people do make that mistake. They think I'm maybe a golf pro, or maybe I work for Callaway or Titleist. I don't. I work for myself. My company is called Slinging Birdies. I think part of the reason people think I'm a golf pro is because I do usually dress like this. These are the clothes. These are the clothes that come in the mail, and therefore, when I go to dinner parties, it's just an assumption. And maybe I should get some more clothes. Breakfast party. Yeah. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about three topics. I'm going to be talking about money, influence peddling, and golf history, both the sports and my own. But first things first, I'm going to read you a poem, because anytime I speak in front of a crowd, I like to do a poem. Now, this poem has a punchline that some of you may know, so please don't shout it out. This poem is dedicated to a PGA Tour pro who finished 7th at the US Open last year. People who watch golf religiously on TV like I do all know this guy quite well. He's also known for a few years back having one of the biggest blow-ups, the biggest blow-up on a par 4 in PGA Tour history. He shot a 16 on a par 4. That is really, really terrible. I could go out with anybody here who's never played golf before and assure that you don't get that high just by hitting it like a broom. You wouldn't get that high. What happened was he hit it into the woods and then kind of felt really uncomfortable about it, had a really hard lie, and he just hit it again, hit a stick. It was like 5 times. It was really painful to watch. It was like watching the Blair Witch Project. He started smiling by the end. He didn't even know how high his count was out. And in golf, if you shoot that high, your round's over. Your tournament's over. So he had to, keep playing the rest of the round. So big up to him, and we'll reveal who he is. Anyway, this poem is called Waggle Like You Want To. Now, a lot of people don't know, but the waggle is the most important move in golf. And that's because a lot of people who play golf, they get tense in their shoulders and they get tense in their legs, and they think it's a static sport. I'm hitting a static object. But it's not. It's more akin to other sports like baseball and tennis, where you need to be moving before you hit the ball. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. So this is called Waggle What You Want To. If people don't know what a waggle is, It's this move. And you waggle with your whole body. It's not just your club. I'll just bring it up so people can see. And sometimes you'll take a swing over the ball even. This guy does. It's his signature move. So control the club head. Show it who's boss. Slow precedes rapid. Static kills. Break tensions will. The big exhale. Very important, the big exhale before you hit a golf ball. Always do the big exhale. The pre-shot thought. Muscle memory. A constant reminder. Start the metronome. Settle those nerves. Emotions in check. Anything to get you on track. Waggles are not for show. Even baseball sluggers know. Swing path guidance, a mental reset, a flapping, flailing runner. When you watch the Olympics, you'll notice a lot of times they jump up and down and they move their arms noodle loose. And in golf, it's the same thing, noodle loose arms. It's all in here, it's all in the core. Limbs, noodle loose before stepping into the blocks. A tennis player, split second shuffling, like this, while you're waiting serve. Back and forth, readying for action. Always moving, primed yet relaxed. Focus equals comfort. Control. Back and forth, above the golf ball, back and forth. Waggle that club, even waggle those feet. Now hit it already, Kevin. Nah, we're getting old. Okay, not everybody in this room is a golfer. So before I even get into anything more deeper on a golf level, I gotta really tell you how golf began. Now golf goes back to the 1400s. Some people think even before, there's some games in Scandinavia that were similar, but real golf is about hitting a ball into a hole and having that take some time, not just hitting a ball into a hole like as if it was a hockey goal. So back in the 1400s, first of all, I wanted curious, this is for a prize. You get a jack pack, which is important in golf fitness. What kingdom in Scotland did golf begin in? It rhymes with wife. Anybody? That is right. Can you pass that out? So back in the 1400s, long before the old course at St. Andrews, okay, golf was a pretty primitive game. Basically, you knocked the pebble around and you were trying to get it into a rabbit hole, and that rabbit hole was a ways yonder. It was never right in front of you. It may be like 100 yards that way. It got longer over time. They didn't even have par 3s, par 4s, and par 5s back then. So who do you think the earliest adopters of golf were then in Scotland? Anybody have any guess?
The Scott farmer.
Well, you're getting close. Very close, that's right. The sheep herders. The sheep herders. That's right. Because if you're a sheep herder in the Kingdom of Fife, you know, you have to, it's a lot of work, but you also have a lot of downtime. When the sheep are kind of munching on their clovers and they're making their baaing sounds, you're just sitting there with it would look like this almost, and you kind of lean on it. It's your crook, right? Your shepherds have these crooks, and they found that if they turned them upside down like this, they were really good at knocking pebbles. So that was the first golf club, and it was pretty good. If you look at early golf clubs too, you can see how the shepherd's crook did, you know, not bad a job. You could still play with one if you really want to go really old school. A handful of golf courses today still use sheep, which is interesting because, you know, the sheep herder, so there's still that lineage there, because the sheep would munch the grass, the tall grass, and that's how we got fairways, essentially. Otherwise, you're just playing in a park without the sheep. So a handful of golf courses in contemporary times still employ sheep. But to do mowing duties, basically, it's cheaper than hiring a grounds crew. You just get a bunch of sheep and they'll start eating the grass on a links style course. But the best animal, and the one that is used more to this day, are goats, because goats have great weed management skills. And unlike sheep, they have yet to unionize. Okay, so that in a nutshell is how golf got started. But how did it become the greatest, coolest sport in the world? It didn't take that long as people think. It actually had a great start. Things tend to become cool when they're a little bit illicit, a little rock and roll, a little Elvis Presley, and golf is no exception. Scotland's King James II, he banned golf. And do you know why he did that? because his army was so infatuated with the sport when they started playing it. The shepherds started going 100 years later. Soldiers are playing this game too, because they were neglecting their archery practice. They were more into birdies than bullseyes. And at that time period, that could be fatal. You could lose a war that way. So he banned golf. He also banned soccer. We don't like to talk about that as much, but that was because they were getting all their energy out kicking the ball. So golf was extremely addictive even back then. Subsequent parliaments, and it wasn't just him, in 1471 and 1491 also banned golf. They wanted to eradicate the sport. We all know what happens when you do that though. Prohibition, moonshine, great things happen when you ban something. And the same thing happened with golf. We all want what we can't have. And noblemen really were doing this. They were still playing during these bans. The only reason they were banning golf is because they didn't want the common punters to play it too. Because if they're playing it, it's no longer a noble sport. And they thought that's unseemly. I don't want to play golf if they're playing it. That's the only reason they banned it. Now, golf's sport of nobility reputation gained serious steam when England's King Charles I became an avid player. And this was long before it became stereotypical for guys named Charles to play golf. I'm looking at you, Charles Howell III. I'm looking at you. He's not in the room. Plays on the PGA Tour. But it is stereotypical that he plays because anybody like Charles I with a title tends to play golf to this day. Anyway, Charles had a very vociferous appetite for the sport of golf. He was a big-time golfer, played every chance he could get. He was so enthralled with the game that he received news of the Irish Rebellion. And this is the Irish Rebellion that preceded the English Civil War while playing golf at Leith. This is in 1641. Now, some of the history books are a little bit murky, but they tend to all agree that he finished his round before calling his generals and figuring out what to do, because you don't stop playing golf. It's that important. He was going to shoot his first sub-80 round, and the war could wait. Let's talk about the women. Now, unlike other sports that waited hundreds of years, women were playing the sport in the 1600s too. Mary, Queen of Scots, made it really cool for ladies to play golf. And she did it back in college. She was studying abroad in France, and she, kind of started playing golf. And that's where the word caddy comes from. And the reason for that is she was a full-blown royal, so she couldn't, carry her clubs. That would be really unseemly for a lady of her station to carry her own clubs. So the army cadets who guarded her, kind of like the Secret Service, carried her clubs, and there were more than one of them. So there were a few of them, one would carry her woods, someone would carry her irons, etc., her putter. And in French, caddy is cadet. And we like to anglicize things, so it took like a hot minute, and then we had caddies. And people see her having someone carry her clubs. It makes the sport so much more fun. If anybody's had the experience, it's awesome to have a caddy. And that's how caddies came, and it stuck. So the sport was a big deal in the British Empire. It quickly spread to the Commonwealth, and that's how it came here. And 90 minutes south of here is the first golf course in America, Harleston Green. It is bounded by Calhoun and Beaufane from Rutledge to Barr. It wasn't a golf course like we think of today. It was kind of a park, but it was a rectangle, and they played golf on it. Now, they'd clear the kids of the area before they were playing. There'd be a lot of kids, people having picnics, people, playing with their horses, doing dressage or whatever they do with their horses. And they would yell, "4!" And that was to forewarn them. A lot of people don't realize that 4 has been shortened over time. It used to be to forewarn, and that's why they would yell 4. And the membership fees at Harleston Green, I wonder if anybody can guess what the membership fees were called. It's another name that has stood the test of time. Any takers? That is correct. You got a jack pack. Now, jack packs are to get you more jacked because you need to be jacked for golf. What also helps in golf is swing oil. Now, this swing oil has been sitting in my car for a while. I wanted to test a claim right here now. Does swing oil, like Sunny Delight, does it last forever? I'm talking 6 months, so I'm going to open it, and I'm going to let you know. Amazing, it's still fun.
You don't put it on the arm?
No, this is, you would think. Some people do put it in the freezer. It's a really hot product right now at golf courses, though. It's supposed to get you loose. It has taurine and ginseng, lots of natural stuff in it. And Jason Day, one of the I call them now the Big Six. It was the Big Three last year, but he's a member of the Big Six. He does the swing oil. Okay, so we were at Harleston Green, rectangular field, 4 and forewarning. As far as golf courses today in America, though, it didn't take that much longer after that to get to a golf course that resembles an 18-hole layout we play today. Does anybody know what the oldest golf course in America, or better yet, even easier, what state it is in? I'll give you a clue. It is in West Virginia. That is correct, but you already have a jackpack.
Damn, if you got a husband here with it.
Okay.
Oh, no.
It's called Oakhurst Links. It's probably not a good idea because it has weight. It's for weightlifting, so it's a lot of supplements. But with some editing, you can have the contents. I'm sure there's some tea in there too. Anyway, it was called Oakhurst Links, and Oakhurst Links is now part of the Greenbrier. It wasn't always. They kind of folded in. They have 5 courses there, and it is the oldest in America. Royal Montreal is older, and in Yonkers there's a few courses, but that are older, but they're not. They're more like that rectangle in Harleston Green. So it's kind of a debated topic. But if you talk about true 18-hole course like we know today, Oakhurst Links. Okay. So that's how golf came to America. But how did it come to me? You may not be able to tell this from looking at me straight away, but I was always a big-time jock. I excelled at bumper cars, and I also ran track and played on my high school soccer team. I was a starting right back. That's a defenseman, but it's apparently the most important position that defensemen play. At least that's what my mom told me. So golf really wasn't on my radar at all. I know people find that hard to believe. Tiger Woods was coming up and all, but it wasn't such a big deal. And I'm from Toronto in his early years as it was here. And so if you ask me who my favorite golfer was, and I had a favorite player in every sport, again, big time jock, so it was something that was on my mind. It was Davis Love III. I just liked the name. I heard it on sports radio a lot. He had won some tournaments back then. And always was my favorite golfer, always will be. And to this day, I call him DL3, and that means I'm a tour level fan, because if you say DL3, you really know, people know who you're talking about, they know you like Davis Love III. Okay, so that's how I kind of heard about golf through him. But let's skip to boy meets club, because it's a love story. So my first foray into actually playing the game of golf came in my junior year of high school. My ball and stick sports were pretty good. I mean, I played baseball. I played Little League up to 18. I played billiards and ball hockey, which is a pretty big deal where I grew up. But, again, golf completely escaped me. My dad didn't play it. He was into soccer and judo. So there was never a push to play golf at that level. So anyway, it comes my junior year, and I play golf for the first time. My first foray onto the lush, manicured fairways came at the behest of my late grandfather. Bill Kemeny. I'm going to tell you the story by reading a short essay I wrote for Golf Canada. Pine Lakes Country Club, the patriarch of Grand Strand Myrtle Beach golf, opened in 1927, 10 years after my grandfather was born. Granddaddy's welcoming fairways, receptive greens are gentle, kind, and fair. Traits that also describe my grandfather, who passed away this past May. It's been 5 years, but that's when I wrote it. In 1954, Pine Lakes was assured sports immortality when Time Life executives played the course. They were at a retreat there, and they were inspired between rounds to create a magazine you may have heard of, Sports Illustrated. A framed copy of the debut issue hangs in the clubhouse. There's a bronze plaque commemorating SI's 50th anniversary. It's a place people visit that are into sports. In the mid-1950s, my grandfather, William Kemeny's life had also been steeped in significant history. A Holocaust survivor who cheated death on multiple occasions, the son of a deaf mute who was deaf in one ear himself due to a bout of typhus, escaped communist Hungary and emigrated to Canada, where he'd start up his life again as an upholsterer. He made office chairs. My grandfather never played around or even hit a bucket at a range in his lifetime, but he got me started in the game playing in a best ball tournament that his company put on when he got an invite. He didn't want to play it. It wasn't the type of thing for him. Basically, all he'd like to do is lift weights as far as sports goes. He was very strong. I imagine had he acquired a taste for the game, he would have been a natural. He was preternaturally strong. even through his octogenarian years, bench pressing almost 180 pounds. And on one occasion, when his car ran out of gas on the Allen Expressway, this is, I think, about I-26, but even more congested, and he was like far from an exit. So instead of taking a jerry can for a walk or calling AAA, he puts it in neutral, puts his arm through the door, holding onto the steering wheel, and walks it all the way to the next gas station, a couple miles away. His arm was black and blue for a week after, of course. But so had he been bitten by the golf bug, I have no doubt that he would have at least had the physicality to hit 300-yard drives. He may not have played on tour, but he would have been good. Mentally, he was a chess master. He was always thinking 6 moves ahead. So reading greens and thinking a mere stroke ahead would have been cake. Grandpa was a contemplative and patient player, a sharp contrast to my impulsive, flawed, move first, think later strategy. It took over 20 years for me to beat him legitimately at chess without taking back a toppled queen or granting myself another mulligan of some form. When I was 12, this really puts it in perspective, I was an avid baseball card collector, ripping open packs mainly in hopes of finding Blue Jays like Pat Henkin, Pat Borders, other guys named Pat. Dempster's Bread, which is a big bread company, decided one year to release a Blue Jays team set. And what they did is they seeded one player per loaf for a limited time. Seeing that I was collecting the set, and this is before the internet, I couldn't go on eBay and buy it. They weren't available in card stores, which used to be around then, because they were just in the bread. It was a food issue. So my grandfather walks down to his local grocery store, which is called Miracle Mart, and he opens each loaf and takes the card out. One by one. But you see, he did it because he didn't want to waste the bread, right? If he brought them all home, they would go bad. So he risked jail time and being booted out of his local supermarket just to make a 12-year-old boy happy. And that's the kind of man my grandpa was, always putting the needs of others above his own. I played Pine Lake shortly after seeing my grandfather for the last time. It wasn't a very significant round. I didn't have my first hole-in-one or any other stroke of divine providence. But there was a sense of comfort and peace as I stuck my tee in the ground on the 18th hole. I caught my very first glimpse. They had of the tees have the name, the granddaddy on them. So I saw it for the first time, and I thought that was very apropos. And I remember thinking, this one's for you, Grandpa, before I hit a heaven-strafing parabola that landed dead center fairway, and I went on to birdie that hole. Now, let's revisit, that's the story that I wrote, but now let's do some freestyle about it. I told you about my first golf experience when it was, but I didn't tell you why I fell in love with the sport. So the format of the tournament's best ball, and it really is the best format for learning the sport if you're going to play in a tournament for the first time, because golf's an individual sport, but best ball makes it a team sport. So everybody hits the ball, whoever had the best shot, then everybody hits from there, and so forth and so on until you get to the hole. So I hadn't played before. I'd only taken one lesson, so I was terrible. But the beauty of golf is, even though I was a ranked novice and I had taken one lesson, I was using a set of counterfeit Cobra clubs, I believe. Use Cobra. Thank you. I still managed to make a major contribution to the team because I was an avid mini golfer. So when we got to the greens, I would be able to do something. I was nuzzling it close. I hold a few. So I was liking this game. I could see, yeah, this is fun. And that's why best ball is the best introduction to the game for people who want to play for the first time. Most charity tournaments use that format for that reason. And what's weird about golf is you can be terrible and still enjoy the game. And that's very unique in sports. Most people don't want to play a game if they are absolutely terrible at it. A.A. Milne, who wrote Winnie the Pooh, had a line about that. He said, golf is so popular simply because it is the best game in the world at which to be bad at. And it's so true. See, back then I was having liftoff issues. I couldn't even get the ball above ground. I was hitting ground balls. But sometimes, you can hit a ground ball and it goes on for a while. It keeps rolling. I was also a hosel rocket machine. I don't know if you know what a hosel is, but a little golf club anatomy. This is the hosel. And if the ball hits here, it just sprays in any direction. And that's how you get the expression hosel rocket, which you should use in your everyday life because it's a great expression. At driving ranges, I had such little control that I always had to stake out the bay to the furthest right, because if I was anywhere else, I could hit the guy next to me and he would no longer be able to father children. Needless to say, car windows and regular windows in houses on golf courses were also always at risk whenever I would play. But despite my many, many weaknesses, I still liked the game. I still kept on playing it, and I got slightly better. Anyway, I was hooked after the experience. It was serendipitous. Had my grandfather not asked me to go in his place, I would have never picked up a golf club. And I probably would have just played soccer. That's what I was doing mostly. I would have played soccer a few more years. I would have had washboard abs well into my 20s, and no one wants to see that. The beautiful thing about golf, and this could also be viewed as the most frustrating thing, is that you can play the sport for 20 years and still be a beginner. Playing golf is not like riding a bike. You can lose your swing. We've seen that time and time again. As we mentioned with Kevin Na, and not to pick on him, Tiger Woods, there's lots of players who lost their swing. Sometimes they get it back, sometimes they don't. You got to constantly practice. Even if you don't have time to practice, you should just swing a club in your garage. And just doing that will at least help your muscle memory remember it. Because otherwise, you'll be playing anew again. Whenever I take a lesson and they ask me about my skill level, I say I'm a beginner. I've played over 1,000 rounds, but I'm still a beginner because I have so much to learn. And Shunryu Suzuki famously said, in the beginner's mind, there are many possibilities. And in the expert's mind, there are few. Okay, I'm going to go on to my influencer script, because a lot of people are curious about that. So we're going to be talking about money in golf. To understand money in golf, first, you got to understand the market on a macro level. What is the golf business? What is the golf industry? So let me lay it out for you. Domestically, it's a $70 billion industry. That's not that big. And if you add some hotels that are just ancillary, you can get well over 100. There are 24 million golfers in America. Now, that includes people who only play a couple times, though. So that's a little bit inflated. And there are roughly 15,000 golf courses in America, give or take. 2 million people are employed by the golf industry, including myself. Now, that's going from big names like Jordan Spieth, Dustin Johnson, all the way down to beverage cart girls, groundskeepers, of course, range ball pickers, and the guys who make ball washing machines. They exist at most courses. So where am I in that scale? I'm somewhere in the middle on the leaderboard. I'd be on the second page probably. So what does that mean? Well, I'm primarily a golf writer, but that's not what makes me exciting. That's what it says on my tax returns, but I've branched out with an extended platform called Slinging Birdies. As a presenter and product demonstrator. So basically I demonstrate clubs, I wear clothing, Puma, Loudmouth. I'm wearing CVs right now. You probably can't see. These are known as the shoe after the shoe. When you play a round of golf, you often take off your shoes. No matter if you're wearing spikes or you're wearing the new kind that are hybrids they have little nubbins at the bottom that you can wear home. But it's going to be uncomfortable and it's unhygienic not to change your shoes. So I call these the shoe after the shoe. If you like Sperry's, you'll probably like CVs. They've been around just as long. Brathwaite watch. It's a good watch to wear on the 19th hole. And I believe I'm wearing a Rule golf hat, founded by a couple kids. So what is a product demonstrator? As a presenter and a product demonstrator, this is live, so sometimes these things happen. I wear new hats today. Thought leader, content marketer, social advertiser, trendsetter, trailblazer, brand ambassador, and community builder. Really, though, all these titles could be summed up in one word. And what is that one word? Money. Influencer. So what we're going to do, and what I do often, is I open boxes. Boxes come in the mail. And this box, I happen to know what it is a service that is a great gift for people who like golf. And it's also, I do a lot of tournament organization. You usually have a gift that you give to everybody who goes to a golf tournament. And this is probably the best gift on the market. It's called Birdie Box. I'm going to use my Kershaw knife, and I'm going to slice it down the middle. Now, don't air slice. Air slicing is a bad idea, but I've done this many times. So out comes the latest Birdie Box. Golf, life, style in a box. Okay, admittedly, I am the brand ambassador for Birdie Box, but I don't know what's in this particular box. It's a surprise, and that's part of the reason people like the subscription model. It's about $50 a month, but then later goes down if you buy more. Anyway, we're gonna open her up and see what's inside. I have no idea. Okay, we got a letter. Hey, we've got a cool hat, and I like to wear a different hat on every episode, so that's always good. This is the Mizuno hat. I don't have any Mizuno stuff, so that's cool to get them. You know, the Japanese company, they make clubs too. This hat's nice. Give it a 10 out of 10. It's white. You always need a white hat. What else do we got? We got a giveaway coming up soon. Does anybody want the latest issue of Golf Digest? Except for you. Guys, this is the hot list. This is the best issue for people who want clubs. Anybody? Bill? You don't want it? Okay. And lastly in this box, and this is the piece de resistance. There's always one item in the box that is cool, really cool. And this is an OGO. I believe this is a performance fabric, sweat wicking, and it is. And that's a problem because a lot of the polos I get are sweat wicking. I don't have any cotton shirts, and cotton is comfortable. But for golf, this is fantastic. OGO.
Question.
Yes.
How many times a day does a FedEx person come to your house?
Well, I have a relationship with him, but so he comes like he brings everything in the truck to my house before he does the other ones because he enjoys dropping the stuff down. Okay. Question. Okay. So now, why do these brands need to go this route? Okay. Well, the biggest fish in the sea don't. Callaway, Titleist, Nike used to be, now they're just an apparel. They don't have to do this because they have Mondo market share. Everybody knows their names. You've heard about them before. I'm talking about sending product to influencers. So if you're a new brand or you're an old brand trying to reinvigorate a product, which is often the case, you'll buy a brand name that's been defunct for a while, and you're trying to bring it back. How do you do that? There's more advertising noise than ever before. We all encounter it on a daily basis. You're seeing ads subconsciously. You're watching ads right now, and you don't even know you are. So how do you do it? How do you penetrate through our guarded defenses? People have horse blinders now toward ads. Half the time, we don't even register a regular ad, even for watching it on television. It's right in front of us. Maybe we're looking at another screen, or maybe we're completely zoned out. We don't recognize that advertisement. So our chances of falling prey to the message is very low, unless you're in a setting like this, where you are slowly being hypnotized into brands. But seriously, this has led companies to increasingly seek out influencers. People with large followings on different social media networks, Facebook, Twitch for video games, Pinterest, YouTube. It goes on and on. There's thousands. Tumblr, of course. So basically, they want to tap into their audience so that the audience in turn loosens their wallets and buys product. This is a circle of life for the majority of golf companies because the majority of golf companies aren't those big three. There are tons of mom and pop golf companies coming up every day. It's such a lifestyle sport that a lot of people, when they retire, decide to start a golf company. They want to, I want to sell golf balls. I want to sell a golf towel. Literally every week there's a new brand of something in golf. So we have these companies looking for new ways to advertise. This coincides also with a paradigm shift that's really happening right now among millennials. What they want is they want authenticity as much as celebrity. So it's not enough to be Kim Kardashian sometimes. Sometimes you have to be a real person. And that's what it really comes down to. Basically, if I wear a certain clothing brand and people know that I play golf and I have an audience, I have 10,000 Facebook fans, they're going to see it subconsciously. They're going to think, oh, Mike wears Puma. Maybe I should wear Puma if I've never heard of golf. Or that OGO shirt I just got. I didn't even know OGO made shirts. I thought they only make golf bags. So you're going to think about it subconsciously, and you may buy. I do affiliate sales. I can even see sometimes when a product no one's heard of starts to sell. So a lot of small brands also, another reason they do this is, sure, well, why you? Why not just some guy on tour who's like 150th? Well, the reason for that is money is, again, if you're a small brand, you're trying to sell something to this small addressable market we talked about. Again, 20 million golfers, but really how many are avid that are constantly buying product? Not many. So how do you reach into these hardcore fans? You have to reach into places that they look. So you can't afford to pay for a PGA Pro. You find someone else. You find an influencer to push your wares. So what's my biggest strength? It's my relatability. The fact that I'm not that great at golf, that I'm a high handicapper, that I most often don't break 100. I can. I've hit 98, 97 a few times, and if I really tried, I probably could get to 80. But then it would ruin my whole business. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. And what I play, the way I play, is the most popular way that most people play. Most golfers do not shoot in the 70s. Very, very few. So a guy like me can be seen as more relatable than a tour pro, because tour pros have phenomenal skills that 99.9% of us will never attain. And that's hard to relate to. Just because player A, say Jordan Spieth, can hit the ball 300 yards with driver X, doesn't mean you will. You probably won't. But if you see me hit a driver 201 yards, you could probably do that. It's something easier to aspire to. So let's go down to the nitty-gritty. Golf brands used to be able to shoot a handful of commercials on television a year, pay for some magazine shoots, just a couple of them. And then when social media eclipsed magazines and became as important as television, they had to pivot. They had to push out several brand messages a day in the form of posts, video, and carefully curated brand messages. And that's a ton of content. The three biggest companies, Titleist, Callaway, TaylorMade, no problem, but anyone else, how can you afford to do that? You need a team. You need more than one person. So create brand ambassadors, send product out to them, feed into the influencer marketing, and who will create content for them. If someone's in the market for a new club, say you're buying a brand new driver. I don't know if any of you have bought a brand new driver, but you're looking at $500, $600 for a brand new driver if you go to a store. And then you got to buy your irons, your putter, your wedges. You're talking easily, over $1,000. So buying clubs is serious business. It's like buying a car. It's not like buying a pair of soccer cleats. You go to a store, I like green, so I'm going to buy the green shoes. You're going to want to read reviews before you even test drive that club. Sure, you go to Dick's Sporting Goods, hit the clubs that the guy shows you, but you're really not going to get a good read on it unless you see someone who's more in the know, who's tested other clubs. It's hard to know because you say, this is my price range, and you're going to hit one club. But there's tons of clubs that sell directly to consumers that you won't even see when you walk into Dick's Sporting Goods. So you're going to want to look to a third party. And maybe before you do that, you'll look on Amazon. You'll look at some star reviews. But even that, you can't really fully trust. You can have trust issues because there are people who are paid to write star reviews on websites because in the end, they're trying to sell a product. So you're going to see a lot of 5-star reviews on things that are maybe not 5 stars. If you've spent any time reading golf advertising too, you'll find that they all purport to have reinvented the wheel completely. Every single year, it's like, wow. It's, new club. We've got aerospace engineering technology just took another leap. Space age alloys we just discovered that weren't on the periodic table. One of my first reviews was this company called Element 21. They made golf clubs, really expensive, and no one knew what the 21st element was. I forget, I don't even know, I don't have a periodic table in front of me. But the point is, they're always trying something. For example, this is the Air Force One. This has nitrogen in it, the same thing that's in your tires. Who would have thought to put nitrogen in a golf club? There's always something. There's bars in a new Callaway. There's these 2 bars that they put. It's the jailbreak technology. It's supposed to do a lot of things. So if you believe golf marketing, every year there's a major aerodynamic breakthrough, or there's a metallurgical breakthrough, and it's all in the service of helping you get better immediately. They all purport to have taken MOI. Does anybody know what MOI is? Any scientists, any physics people in the room? Sean? That's right. Well, but what does moment of inertia mean in golf? I mean, it's like it's angular acceleration on impact, but what does that really mean? I wrote it down because I forget. I get it confused with coefficient of restitution, which they often talk about in golf too. So moment of inertia, it's a physics term meaning the stability of an object and how resistant it is to angular acceleration or twisting. So the higher the MOI, the more resistant an object is. So if you think of, the Avengers comic and Thor, he has this hammer that's really strong. So that would have an MOI off the charts. It's made of uru, which is, again, a mythical metal, similar to what you hear about when you read about golf clubs, mythical metals. So MOI is measured in grams over centimeters squared. 5,400 for a driver is good. But nowadays, a lot of people who become smart consumers don't even look at that because truthfully, it's absolutely meaningless. Now you have COR, coefficient of restitution. This is a technical term describing energy transfer. Again, it sounds good. Oh, we have a COR. It's off the charts. 1 is probably the best COR. A lot of clubs, I think, are in the 0.8, 0.7 range. But again, it doesn't really matter. These are just marketing tools to make your club sound cool, which is fine. I mean, there have been actual leaps, and the COR and MOI are pretty much the same in a lot of clubs these days. So, I didn't even get into geoacoustics. Impact sound is what a lot of people care about when they hit a drive. Like, wow, that really sounded good. They spend a lot of money trying to get a really nice sound. And actually, I can get behind that because that does matter. You're going to hear it a lot. There was Nike came out with a club called the Sasquatch a long time ago, and it had like a really tinny sound that was annoying. But yet Tiger played it and people used it, and you'd hear it over and over again when you got the club. But because it was so annoying, you'd buy another club next year. So that was helpful. So every new club is more forgiving than the last, okay? The MOI is off the charts. Basically, that's what MOI means in a golf. We're talking about golf clubs, how forgiving the club is when you don't hit it in the sweet spot. So you got MOI, you got sweet spots the size of a T-Rex, jacked up COR, dope sounding geoacoustics, new ways to hit the ball way straighter and 10 yards further than whatever you were using before. Now, don't get me wrong, equipment has come a long way. You only have to look at the pro game, where more and more golfers have the ability to reach the green on 2 on a par 5. And the incredible 59 score, a miracle, when Al Geiberger pulled off the awesome feat in 1977, he was the first player to go that low. It's still astonishing, but Jim Furyk had a 58 in last year at the Travelers. Justin Thomas and Adam Hadwin this year also entered that exclusive sub-60 club. So now it's becoming more normal. But as great as equipment has gotten, if you literally take product copy as gospel, you would think golf club science is breakthrough prone as biotech or quantum computing, and that's simply not the case. But if you believe everything you read, it is. So finding an honest broker to suss out the grains of truth from the dream weaving is difficult. You got to read golf magazines. You got to find someone you can trust. And sometimes, oh, we did that. Okay, so I'm a high handicapper, every other weekend golfer who's written about the game for a decade in dozens of respected publications, and I also make lighthearted, funny videos while maintaining a tremendous respect and reverence for the game. And I have a face you can trust, and that goes a long way. So now let's do a live version of Slinging Birdies for the first time in the history. We're going to start with a very unusual item. It says fragile on it. I don't usually get these too often, but I have started to lately. I have kind of an idea what this is, but I'm not 100% sure. There was a company. This is from Charleston. Let me just open it on this table, then I'll go back to the mic. So it's not that sharp. I got to open this way. So it's fragile. Anybody guess what it is?
Pants, shirt, golf, club.
I'll tell you this. It's none of those things.
It's fragile.
I'll give you a clue. It may be something that you can drink.
Water! Sling water.
You're getting closer.
Sling water. The stuff that Jason Day drinks.
That's closer.
Beer!
It's vodka. Now, this Dixie vodka is from Charleston. They're a boutique distillery, like we have Copper Horse here in Columbia. And in Charleston, they have Dixie vodka. It comes in pepper flavor, all sorts of different flavors. Flavored vodka is really in right now. We're straight. What are we looking at here? This is just the regular, I think. And this is black pepper.
Is that a surprise?
Would you like a bottle?
Yeah.
Would you like black pepper or would you like regular?
Regular!
You want the black pepper? Okay. Here you go. Black pepper flavored vodka. I'll keep this one. Yeah. Now, You're wondering, why did a vodka company send me something? Well, they put out a press release that they had the new drink for golf. What is the drink for golf? Anybody know what is the most obvious drink in golf?
Beer.
No, somebody said it. Arnold Palmer, that's right. You get a Jack. Who said it first? Who said it?
She did, I think.
Me.
Okay. Here, can you pass this back? This isn't golf. This is weightlifting.
Give it to your son or your
It's for weightlifting. Okay, the Arnold Palmer is a drink for golf, and the John Daly is if you add vodka. And John Daly has a vodka too. He was actually in Colombia. I went out to see it when he came, and there was only like 3 people there, so I got to have lunch with him, which was cool, but they didn't promote the event well. We have a bigger crowd than John Daly. So, the vodka, they put out a press release that said they have the new ultimate drink for the Masters. It's called the Club Cooler. Basically, it's the usual Arnold Palmer, add the vodka, but then also add real tea. So they say add the real tea. They got a mixologist to do it. And I'm going to try it later. I haven't tried it now. Okay, I'm going to open another box. This is the big box. These are my favorite things to get. It is a golf club, but can anybody guess which golf club it is?
Driver iron.
It is.
5-wood.
It's not a driver or an iron. I'll give you a clue. 911.
driver.
911. It's a rescue club, or otherwise known as a hybrid. Now,
Can I please keep it?
actually, I have to hit this one later for a proper test. So this is Tour Edge. I believe this is the EX12. Now, Tour Edge is a really hip company, really fashionable, very stylish. Think of Zara for women's clothing, and you'll think of Tour Edge. Zara. Wow, another golf picture. Okay. So, see this? This is unique. I don't have to take the sticker off, but there's that. It looks like a razor, so you can kind of shave your face with it as well as play golf with it. That's for airflow, but that's their new thing this year. Again, every year something new and wonderful is invented, and this is their thing. They hired a team of engineers to come up with it. Again, it has 1, 2, 3. That's even more than my Gillette. Way more than my Gillette. So what do you use this for? This is a 4. So say it goes between my fairway wood and my, it basically replaces a 3-iron, but also it's going to be more accurate out of the rough. I usually hit my fairway wood out of the rough because I don't have one of these. So this is great. I want to thank Tour Edge. This goes in the bag. Next, we're going to open something. This I know what it is. And these are, again, my favorite boxes. Some people who know me, they call me Imelda Marcos because I get a lot of these. Yeah, these are, that's right. You get a Jack Pack. Okay. So, but these aren't ordinary golf shoes. This is a really cool company, and they're starting to take off. It's called Bion, and they use EVA with this ethylene. I forgot what it stands for. It's sort of like a rubbery material, kind of like Crocs. But the idea is nurses and people like that wear these kind of shoes who stay on their feet all day. And the interesting thing about Bion, it's B-I-I-O-N, is they also do boating shoes. So these are, and it's the same shoe. It's for going on a boat or playing golf. And you can, boating shoes are great. You can play without socks on too.
How do they know your size?
Oh, that's an interesting question. They always reach out and ask for my size. But I mean, a lot of people know my size. They can ask someone else what my size is. I wear 11, but for Bions, apparently it's a half size smaller. So if they got it right, it should be a 10 and a half. Sorry, it was restrictions on clothing?
I guess private golf clubs, are you allowed to go cyclists and things like that?
Yes, you are now. That's interesting you mentioned that because golf used to have a collared shirted orthodoxy. It used to be much more rigid. It's gotten a lot more loose as the number of participants have dropped. They kind of had to be. You don't even have to wear a collar anymore. A lot of companies have come out with collarless shirts. And caddies can wear shorts, and soon players will probably be able to wear shorts too. All those rules are kind of gone. But yes, they were there. That was the old perception.
Back in the 20s and 30s, they had to wear a shirt and tie.
Exactly.
Play golf in a shirt and tie.
So, Bion, you can tell it's kind of cool. I'm going to open it up, and you can pass it around if you want to see. But it is a unique looking shoe. I've never actually worn them yet. Check that out. It has that saddle. You can pass it around and then feel how it's really comfortable, and it bends, and it has the nubbins on the bottom. It's like yeah, it's a slip-on, and you can use it as a gardening shoe too. Here, pass it around.
Do you have to wear pants as well?
Pants? No. The Bion, I'm not sure, but I mean, it's priced the same as a regular golf shoe. I think it's around 100, but I'm not 100% on that. I have to look. Some golf shoes go up to 300. This one I think is like 119. I'd have to look it up, so we'll flash it on the screen in the video, the actual price of the Bion. Okay. Now we got another box. Now you ask, why do I get tennis stuff? In fact, I just got an inquiry from Technofiber. I'll call you back. They string tennis rackets because golf and tennis are sister sports. So if you're writing about golf and golf equipment, you're probably going to get some leads on tennis. This is called Tennis Trunk. It's another subscription box for people who play tennis. I'm a USTA tennis player, so I play every Monday in Columbia. And what they usually send you is balls and other things too for tennis, like wrist wraps and stuff. And again, it's golf's country club sister sport. Most people who play golf also play tennis. How many people play tennis in this room?
Me.
See? A lot of people. Okay, so what do we got? We got a shirt. We got a shirt. This is, again, dry fit material.
Now that is a shirt.
This is a company called Riser. I believe this company, and I've seen them on women, they do one of those crop top things too. Never seen a men's shirt, but I guess they do men's. Riser. So who plays tennis again?
Me.
Okay, pass this to the man in the, okay, you can get it. There you go. Any other tennis players? Anybody else want one?
Can I please?
Wilson, US Open official balls. We have another winner. Okay, we got some RX bars for energy. Here you go. No, you can't.
I need one.
Because we don't know.
Catch somebody.
This has 3 egg whites in it. 3 egg whites. This is your breakfast.
Thank you. Can I please have it?
You want 3 egg whites? Can you have 3 egg whites?
I just throw it.
No, okay. No one wants egg whites. And we also have tournament grip to wrap your grip in. You want tournament grip? Oh yeah, pass this. That was Tennis Trunk. It's often hard to, like when I play tennis, I run out of balls and you have to go to the store. So having the service, if you pay for the subscription box, it's actually pretty handy to have. So you don't have to do that and you're saving yourself time. And money too, that's true. It's like buying in bulk because time is money. Okay. I wanted to talk briefly about Caddy Clean. This is an unusual one. A couple high school kids in Boston sent it to me. It's basically to clean your own clubs. And I like when kids start a company, it's kind of cool. So it has grooves to clean your clubs. It has a spray. Okay. These kids, the reason they came up with this is they used to, when they played golf, they would spit on their clubs and then use their t-shirt. And they thought there's got to be a better way. And it's important to have clean clubs. It's not just for aesthetics. The spin is all in a clean club. If you have a dirty club, you're not going to be able to spin it. It's not going to stop on the green. It's going to keep going. So clean clubs are very important. Next, we have the bag itself. This is October golf gear. I'm going to hold it up. This is the coolest golf bag on the market. There's no question. And the reason it's the coolest golf bag, oh, I'm keeping this one, is it's completely modular and made to your settings. In fact, this bag was curated personally by the CEO of October Golf for my needs. They have different attachments you can do. There's jacket pockets, cigar pockets, ball pockets, cooler pockets, and you can arrange them any way you see fit onto it. It has really heavy-duty Velcro, and it has a really nice look. And they come in different colors too. Next, we go to the orange whip. Does anybody want to do an exercise? The orange whip, you hold in front of you. This is just to get your golf muscles going before you ever play golf. And turn towards your target line. I can't do the other exercises due to lack of space, but if you do this every day and you do the normal swings with it, what makes it unique is it has this weight at the end, and that gives you the feeling of lag. This is made in Easley, South Carolina. It's actually the pride of Easley, South Carolina. Most training aid companies, they come a couple years are gone. This has been around for over a decade. They now have a putter one. They have wedge ones. They're really innovative, and it's a simple thing. It's simulating lag, so you feel like what it's like to swing a golf club.
How heavy is that?
It's about the same, a little bit heavier than a golf club, but that's good because then when you switch back to your golf club after swinging this, and say you don't have space to swing a club every day, like I said, which is integral to maintaining your swing, you swing this, you get the right feel. It's the only field trainer that really gives you the feel. This is called the missig. The missig is the most important stretch in all of golf, or so says the creator, Bernie Fay, who created it. Basically, I'm not going to do it, but you strap it onto your arm, and it's this exercise, because you want to swing from the inside out. So like this, but it's going to be like this. Let me see if I can sort of simulate it. Like this. Also helps you get more back in the swing. A lot of people don't take their club back enough. When you're starting out, it's less important, but when you want to get better, you want to have that full motion. And so you got to bring it back further. Okay, I'm going to get to my conclusion. It did? I got to find it. Okay. I was going to talk a little bit about the future of golf and what it's going to look like. And it's going to basically be the same golf you know today, but maybe under a dome. Like that TV show Under the Dome. Also, clubs are getting smarter. A lot of the technology is embedded in them now, so you'll be able to get all your statistics from your club itself. Arcos is a company that puts these little nubbins at the end, but now they're being built into Cobra clubs. And they're called connected clubs. So you play around, then you look at the computer afterwards, and you see your smash factor and all these statistics that you used to have to pay $10,000 and get a TrackMan to understand. So clubs are getting smarter. I guess that's it.